And then we'll have the invocation by Councilman Pope. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and unto the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Our Father, all wise and everlasting God, we thank you for another meeting. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather together one more time to do the business of the town. We thank you for the mayor, we thank you for our town director. Lord, we thank you for all the officers in this house. We thank you for bringing us together to do your work, that people may live and love in unity in this town. We thank you for what you have done. We thank you for what you're doing right now. And we pray that you will help and guide us to do the right thing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll get right into our committee reports, and the first on the list is our Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilman Dixon.
So we have two things on. Let's see, the first is recommending the council approve the designation of applicant Hurricane as, how do you say that name? As presented. It's on form of a motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those, are there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the second part of that is recommend the council approve the disaster assistance agreement for Hurricane Ida. I'll put that in the form of a motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those, in discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the second on our list is Administrative Committee, and that's chaired by Councilman Hyde.
Thank you, Mayor Stallings. The Administrative Committee is going to recommend that council adopt the mission statement, philosophy statement, and objectives of the Human Relations Commission as presented in our packet. And before I make that recommendation in the form of a motion, I would like to say that it's my pleasure to make this recommendation beginning with the December 2019 meeting and continuing through all the meetings that we had to develop our 2020 vision statement, and practically every other meeting that we've had in 2020, this council has made it a priority to develop and name this commission, and it's all come to fruition tonight. I know I've heard the complaints that it took us too long to do so, but it was certainly COVID had a lot to do with that, but more importantly, the work of this commission and the whole idea of this commission is so important. We wanted to take our time and make sure we got it right, and I'm confident we got it right. I'm confident of the work that this commission is going to do. So having said that, it's the recommendation of the council, of the committee, that we approve this statement and objectives, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I do want to say, this document is very well written, well organized. I want to thank the task force for all the work you guys put into it. Will the commission members all have a copy of this?
Okay. Absolutely.
Great.
And I was telling Anne Marie the other day, the North Carolina League of Municipalities is starting something very similar to that. And I was very proud to tell them that we had already instigated that in our county, and it was very pleasurable to be able to do that. So we have a motion and a second on the motion. So any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Okay. Motion carried. Okay, the next on the agenda we've got several items of new business to contend with there, and I will turn that over to Anne Marie, if she will, to take care of all of those items.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And Tammy is bringing up on the screen a photo, a GIS photo, which was included in your packet, but we just wanted to make it available for those Zooming with us to see. We had a request from the Airport Commission for the council to extend the term of the ground leases that you all have for privately owned, we call them corporate hangars at the airport. And when we started doing ground leases back in the 90s, the thought was that after 30 years, the hangars would revert to ownership to the town. But what we realized after we built the corporate hangar that you all own, the maintenance hangar, you'll recall several months ago you had an $18,000 budget amendment that owning a hangar sounds nice on paper, but comes with a lot of financial responsibilities in terms of not only the maintenance, but also insurance. And so the Airport Commission recommended that you consider extending the term. So instead of having 3 10-year terms for a hangar, extend it and have another 10 years, so a 40-year term, a total of 40 years. And so we have put together on your agenda tonight a request asking that you would extend the hangar, the term of the ground lease for 205 Sailor Avenue, and that is currently owned by Webfly Incorporated. Also, extend the term of the ground lease for the hangar at 113B Airport Road, and that's owned by East Aviation. And then we have 2 other corporate hangars. We have 113D, which is out here, and then 113E, which is our largest privately owned hangar. And if you approve that, it just secures, hopefully, people will extend and want to extend their agreement with us, and it secures more revenue for the airport and then reduces our potential liability for maintenance. So Mayor, we listed them separately on the agenda, and I'm happy to try and answer any questions. But if the council's willing to consider, we'd recommend that you would extend the term of each one as listed on the agenda separately, so we have a record of each.
So make a separate motion for each.
Yes.
Mayor, I would make the first motion that we extend the term of ground lease for the airport hangar located at 205 Sailor Avenue, owned by Webfly LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
And likewise, Mayor, I would make a motion that we approve the extension of the term of the ground lease for the airport hangar located at 113B Airport Road, owned by East Aviation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mayor, likewise, I make a motion that we extend the term of the ground lease for the airport hangar located at 113D Airport Road, owned by Parish Aerial Services.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
And lastly, Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion that we extend the term of the ground lease for the airport hangar located at 113E Airport Road, owned by Green Ridge Investment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried, and thank you very much.
Couple questions. Is the 207 Sail Avenue, is that the town owned?
Yes,
That's the one that we own, that we've rented to a person who's doing maintenance.
yes, that's correct.
What about 113C Airport Road, the large hangar?
Those are owned by the town, and we lease, I believe there are 10 T-hangars, we call them T-hangars, but there are 10 spaces there,
Okay.
and we lease to individuals who house their individual airplanes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any further questions of this item on this agenda? Okay. And Rick, you will continue, please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The next item, item E on your agenda, is a budget amendment that Virginia Smith has prepared, our finance officer. We had a police vehicle to have a encounter with a deer. The officer was on patrol and a deer ran out and hit the vehicle. Our insurance company has totaled the vehicle and they sent us $8,569. And Chief King has asked that we put that money in contingency, and he's going to be asking that we budget a little bit more, probably that like amount next year in July 1, and then he'll be able to purchase a new replacement vehicle. We have other vehicles that the officer can use until we get a new vehicle. So recommend you approve the budget amendment that would reflect the revenue in from insurance proceeds, and then the expenditure would go into contingency, and we don't spend that without your approval.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the budget amendment
Okay.
for the police vehicle.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Right. Was that one of our new vehicles?
No.
Okay. I
Oh,
was
thank
saying,
goodness,
I
that was
believe I
my
heard that
question
number,
too.
like the vehicle was in the car.
How old was that vehicle? Or how many miles?
Shoot, I don't have that at
That's-
my
I can
fingertips.
pretty much assure you, it wasn't one of the new vehicles, $8,500.
Right.
When Chief is on his way, I'll get that
That's okay.
answer for you.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and Tammy's gonna bring up a picture. I meant to include this in your packet. I wanted to show you what the safety grant that the police department applied for. Through the league, we have our workers' comp and property and liability, so we're eligible to apply for a safety grant every couple of years. And Chief wrote a grant that was approved to purchase street barriers. And they're referred to as jersey barriers. And, you know, before I came to Edenton, I was an assistant manager for a town in New Jersey. And I remember those jersey barriers on the turnpike. But they've become really great tools for not only law enforcement, public works, fire department, and you mobilize them to where you want to either close the street or narrow, restrict traffic, and you fill them with either water or sand, and they're really sturdy. And so Chief got approval to purchase, trying to think how many he was going to purchase.
Is it a rubber, product, is it rubber?
It's plastic, I believe, really heavy plastic, but
It's a heavy-duty plastic, very heavy-duty plastic. And you fill it
they cost like $175 a piece, and we're gonna be able to buy $2,300 worth.
And if you fill it with sand or water, either one is very still.
You would want to back into it.
No.
When we have special events, like under normal circumstances before COVID, the tree lighting ceremony, with the way the traffic is shut down here, sometimes we have to put a police car to use as a barrier. We think this will be more efficient and safer. Boogie on Broad or other events where we close the street, I think it's gonna be, much safer for our citizens and our visitors. And Councilman Coleman, Police Chief, and I talked about maybe we could use this as a way to test if we looked at a certain street in North Edenton that we identified. Let's see what would happen if we were to temporarily close that street. So we think it's gonna have a lot of good value and help us with carrying out the different departments' missions. I think Corey may be able to borrow it for Public Works as well if they're closing a street for some maintenance work. So we ask that you would approve the budget amendment that Virginia prepared, and again, that shows the revenue coming in from the grant and then an expenditure for the purchase of the barriers out of the police department budget.
Any further questions or discussion of Ms. Knighton? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next item, you want me to
Yes,
keep
please.
going ahead? Okay. So on your agenda tonight is a request to authorize an easement adjacent to or on the property of the town's, what we call the Westover Pump Station, and that's located on West Queen Street, the 800 block of West Queen Street. And in the agenda review memo, I reported on Friday that two property owners who currently have what I call a private easement that provides access to two lots, had an agreement to vacate the existing private easement that runs not down the center of one property, but pretty close to the center of the property. And that agreement was contingent on the property owner selling about 35 feet on the east side of the lot to the person that would be owning the rear lots. But in order for that to work, for that easement to be extinguished, the existing easement, and then a new access would be created, the town would need to give an easement to the property owner to get from West Queen Street onto their hopefully new driveway. However, unfortunately, the agreement was rescinded by one of the parties late on, I believe it was Friday. And so that's off the table. But I think, and I hope, perhaps there will be able to negotiate an agreement. And I would recommend, and I talked to Elizabeth, our planner, we recommend that you still consider approving the easement through our pump station, but it would be contingent upon, of course, the two property owners reaching agreement, and then a survey of our easement, and of course, a legal document citing the terms and conditions of the easement be drafted and approved by the town attorney.
Any questions of Ms. Knight on that?
I don't have a question, Mayor, but I do have a comment, and I apologize to fellow council members that this has come up once again, but I cannot, a lot of times you can't anticipate these type of things. I represent one of the parties that town manager has explained are trying to enter into this agreement, and therefore I feel like it would be inappropriate for me to discuss and vote on the matter. And as we've done in the past, I would just ask that one of our fellow council members move to recuse me, that we get a second, and that we vote in favor of the recusal.
I move to recuse the Councilman High.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to recuse Councilman High. All those in favor of the motion, please signify, or first, is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, you are recused.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Now we need a motion to authorize the easement.
I make a motion to authorize the easement contingent upon both parties reaching some type of agreement. And I think you mentioned a survey had to be done, Anne Marie, and some
A
other.
legal document
Legal document
drafted by the town attorney.
drafted by the towns.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Anne Marie, I believe you have one other
I
item.
do, and this is a happy thing. So, you know, a couple months ago, you approved the purchase of a new or a gently used trolley. And we've debated about what to do with the very old, well-used trolley, the 1993 trolley. And the staff, guided by recommendations from Mike Winslow and seconded by Public Works Director Corey Gooden, recommend that the existing trolley be declared surplus and be put up for sale through the internet-based auction house that we use. It's called GovDeals. Mike said he would be surprised if we get more than $2,500, but then he said, we have been lucky over the years when we sell unusual vehicles and equipment to attract bidders who pay more than what we imagined the item is worth. So we're asking tonight that you declare the 1993 trolley as surplus and no longer needed, and then authorize us to put it up for sale on GovDeals and set the minimum bid at $2,500. I did talk with purchasing agent Bud Powell today, and he manages that process for us and does a really great job. And I think Councilman Coleman had asked, well, what if we don't get just a little bit more than $2,500? Maybe it's not the right time of year. Once you put it on GovDeals, can you take it off? Are you committed to selling it? And we're not. You can take it, you can withdraw it right up until the last minute of the auction. So with that, we would recommend that we move forward with that plan.
Okay. Any questions of Ms. Knight on that, on the trolley? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Negative? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. And that ends our committee reports for tonight. The next item on there is our items considered timely and important. And I have one I would like to share tonight. I'd like to give a little bit of an update on our COVID-19 cases and information as it relates to us in Chowan County. On Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving, we had 35 active cases. As of yesterday, we had 115 active cases. So we're really going in the wrong direction. The state released updated county alert map today, and there's no surprise that Chowan County has moved from yellow, meaning significant community spread, to orange, meaning substantial community spread. So we have to, absolutely have to be more diligent in our quest to slow the speed of this virus. And we salute all of you who are wearing masks when you are out in the community. And we implore you, those who are not wearing masks, to please mask up. We have lost over 5,600 North Carolinians to this virus and 19 in Chowan County. Last night I was on a call with Senator Tom Tillis and Congressman Greg Murphy, and they shared information about the vaccines. The vaccine is coming. North Carolina will receive 85,000 doses in the first wave. And these doses will be distributed to 11 hospitals who have the capacity to store them in sub-temperatures recommended by the manufacturer. And they in turn will distribute the vaccine to 50 other hospitals. And each person will require 2 doses of the vaccine. An initial dose followed by a second dose in about 30 days. These first doses will be given to healthcare workers, the elderly, and the most vulnerable population, as well it should be. But until our turn comes to receive the vaccine, we must remain vigilant. Please, I implore you, please, wear your mask when you're out in public. Wash your hands frequently and wait at least 6 foot apart. So wearing the mask, washing your hands, and staying 6 foot apart is, you know, these people, Dr. Mandy Cohen and all these directors, they know what they're doing. They've done their homework. So please, let's listen to them. Let's do these things. Do these things so that you and your family will have a safe and Merry Christmas, and we wish that for everyone out there. Thank you. Anyone else have anything they want to share for the good of the? Yes, sir.
Edenton Care just received 500 cloth masks and 250 paper masks, and so if you know of groups, we've been passing these out, particularly in high concentrated areas like Album Project. If you know of anyone or any group that needs face masks, children, elderly, whatever, let me know and we'll be glad to get them out too. We have plenty of them.
Well, maybe law enforcement can help teach people how to wear masks, because they're about half, you know, I mean, everywhere I go, people got masks so below their nose or below them. I mean, it's just, you know, they're not wearing them right. There's no need to have one on if you're not gonna wear it right.
I heard someone say the other day, if you got it below your nose,
You might as well not have it on.
it's a chin guard.
Yeah.
It's a chin guard.
Chin guard. Reverend Poe?
I'm concerned about Bond Hill's paving. I went to Manham Road today, and I was almost sorry I went through there because I got all this equipment in there and they're working with me. But when the man stopped me, I asked him, why do y'all wait till bad weather and wait till winter time to lay asphalt? They had laid asphalt yesterday, but they had to go back and do it over again because it cracked. We know that summertime is when they put down asphalt because it's got to be hot. If it's cold, it ain't gonna last long. Trucks go up, cars go up, and they start getting hosed, and it don't last long. I think this is the second time that I've been on the council that Bond Hill did some paving in Edenton. And I can't see one road that they done that they ain't gotta go back over and fix it. Why do they wait till the winter time to work for Edenton?
Well, the funds weren't approved by the local government commission until October.
that, but then we had to enter into the financing agreement. So it did take time, it was a matter of timing to get all the funding in place for Everett Pool. But please be assured, the engineers that the town council hired to develop the bid specifications, there are very strict rules regarding temperature and weather as to when they can pave and when they cannot pave. And that's all spelled out in the contract. So I'm sorry that the timing was such that we are running up to a point where eventually we might get shut down. But they were following the engineering standards that are set not only by our engineers, but what the state requirements are. And then I do want to say that the people, the residents in Hawthorne and Stratford Road, they have been enduring so much in terms of their roads being torn up since March. And so we pushed Barnhill, please, please, please try to get those streets and Batham paved before the cold weather sets in. So that's the explanation. We wanted to get those roads, and we're hoping to get most of the roads done before before the asphalt plants shut down.
Well, that's a bad section to do, because of the heavy equipment that they got. They can't help them getting that mud and dirt in that asphalt. Ain't no curb there.
They did widen Batham. With your recommendation, we were able to widen a portion to make it, easier for the motorists, as you recommended. So that plan worked out.
Stratford and Hawthorne are both being widened a little bit too.
Okay. The other thing, is it possible that you can open up the other road, because you won't be able to go through Batham? The road that they closed temporarily, that'll be easier to get to Food Line and the other places.
You mean that private road
Yeah, that section of road going through there where they blocked off.
from Virginia Road to Paradise Road?
Yeah, from Paradise Road to Virginia Road.
Yes. That is a private
That's
road.
private property.
That's private?
That's private,
Private property.
and it's not completely built up to town standards yet. Now, the developer has been kind enough, they're gonna open it for the reverse Christmas parade on Saturday, but that road is not, it's not complete, and it's not ready for the town to accept it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anne Marie, regarding the vision statement, this is our last booklet we did back in 2017. Do you have any idea when the new vision statement booklet will go to print?
Any day now. We had help from a local graphic artist to update it, and we're proofing it. So yeah, it's gonna look really nice.
Great.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll be ready around the first of the year for you.
Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, in terms of public comment, under our policy with Zoom, we advertise if people had public comment to send it written to me prior to the meeting, and I have not received any public comment.
Okay. All right.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a
second the adjournment.
Okay. All those- We adjourn.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Very good.